Alright, welcome back. So today we're building the 18 metre, we call it the Nebula. That was a name, it's a long story. But anyway, it's an 18 metre signature. So it's a blooming big antenna, right? Not for the faint-hearted. It'll need guide in a couple of places. I've cut the elements according to the cut chart. And what I'm going to do is, and you've seen me do this before or any of the build videos, I put fork connectors, right, on the wire. I have marked the wire because I'm going 17, 20, 30, 40, 60 and 80. So 6 elements. I'm not worried about 15, 10 and 12. So this is a low band antenna up to 17. And what I've done is I've marked the 6 antennas from 17 downwards: red, orange, yellow, green, blue and grey. There's 6. Because it's the colours of the rainbow and I was taught that at school. So let me start cutting this. Now, I used to solder this stuff, but I don't anymore. I haven't got my right cutters here, have I? Then that works. I just crimp it properly, and they've never come out since. So let's put these in the crimpers. And I'll do all 6 of these. I'm going to go outside and do the exciting bit. And actually put an 18 metre together. That's 80 metre done. That's a hot glue shrink wrap. That's supplied. And there's my little grey tab, 80. Next job inside, just before we go out, is we've got some alloy plates that are supplied. Absolutely monstrous things. Now, the ground plate, normally you would put, you wouldn't need to use every hole, right? You can put 4 radials on one fork connector, but we supply a ton of DX10 with the Nebula. So you just put what you can out, basically. But I'm different. Mine is slightly elevated, and I've got ground straps going to a huge ground plate. And I've got a funny feeling they're probably the wrong size. Might need to lengthen them a tiny bit. So I'm going to just put 4 bolts in here. Because, well, actually I'll put 6, and then we can double up on the amount of ground straps we have between the one ground plate and the next ground plate, if you know what I mean. So, again, you don't need to watch me do this forever. I'll start one corner. We put 6 in. In the old days, we used to hand tap these. We got quite good at nearly making them 90 degrees. But then we got the DX engineering order in, and it was quite a big stock order. And I said to the people who laser cut the 1050 we use now, 1050 is an aluminium spec. I said to the aluminium plate people, can you tap for us? Now, I don't think they are geared up for tapping, but they did quote me a price. It was expensive, but, you know, what else do you do? I've put roughly equal 6 nuts and bolts and washers. We don't need bottoms. I'm going to put them right in the top here. So that's what I'm going to do. And then we got the driven plate, and I know we have 6 elements plus an SO239. So I'm going to put some nuts and bolts in these as well. And as you can see, we've got, ignoring that one there, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 elements, and then this one here is for the SO239. By the way, there's a weird hole spacing here, just in case someone wanted to put 3 equidistant, 4 equidistant, or 6 equidistant elements. All right, so now finally I'm ready. Elements cut. Let's go outside and spend half an hour sorting the pole out. Right, this is absolutely gigantic. So it's nearly the same height as me. So we're going to do an experiment today. Well, not so much an experiment. I have actually done this before, which is super glue, right? I've got another one of these somewhere. Now, last time I did this, a lot of people said, oh, it's not going to work. And I had a classic. It's over there. I can't collapse it now because I literally super glued all the sections together. So I'm going to try it with this one as well. Just take the caps off. Gee, look at the size of everything. One of these things you have to see in the flesh. That's literally my hand. Amazing, isn't it? Huge. I'm going to put some glue around there and then wing it out, see what happens. This effectively destroys the telescoping nature of it, but anyway. So I'm moderately confident that this one will work. All right. Now, next one. If you're in like a forever home and you just never want to take this down again, this might be a solution. But I think the trick is not sparing the horses, if you know what I mean. And then if we just twist it as we get near the end, it should work. So this one here. Is that sealed yet? Oh God, it's gone already. I can't get it back. All right. Oh, I'm quite liking this. I'll still it kind of drip one way or the other, you know what I mean? I've got a bit on my hands. So why am I taking the 12.4 down, putting this up? Because the reality is, the only difference between 12.4 and an 18 is that there's a bit of a coil on the 80 metre band, whereas this is full, you know, it's not quite a quarter. We're going to top load it by linear loading it, but there's no coil. Do that again. Perfect. Am I brave enough not to put any clamps? These sections are getting quite big now. I mean, the argument was that super glue is brittle, and it is brittle, but the radius that it's going to bend through is so small, and the idea, if you coat the whole joint, you know, might just work. Get it all over my fingers. Drat. I'm leaving marks on the paintwork, but, you know, not a lot we can do about that. Oh, I know what it is. It's all over the bloody bottle. How do you get super glue off your hands? I will ask ChatGPT. He seems to know everything. That pour round. So let's get that one out of the way. That one out of the way. Which one are we dealing with? That one there. Oh, I can actually see some goop. Yeah, it's slid. It's a bit shiny there, so that's super glue. All right. I think we'll move this down a bit. We'll get the plates on and string up the elements. Hopefully I can get this finished today. Right, so that's the last one there. Trying to work out how glue's got on the end of this one, but it doesn't really matter. I just haven't got time to think about it. Now we need to give this a really big tug, which will be all the way over here actually. See, unless you've got, I normally do this with Lockie, right? Because to get, your hands aren't big enough and you really need one person on one tube and one person on the other tube, and you both agree to twist and pull in a certain direction. Well, I'm just flinging it out as hard as I can. I could probably get another couple of inches out of all of these, but I'm super gluing. Lockie's busy, you know. So, right, I'm just dropping the rubber bung out the bottom of that, because we'll use this to hold this in place. And I've put an SO239, that comes in a kit. It's a long way away. Lovely. Then we get a strap to hold it in place. You know, stop it rising up. What they call an easy clamp. Actually, I'll go that way. Instead of winding it by hand, I brought out my little tool. Nice. Oh yes. We won't put the SO239 on yet. That will go there. Alright, let's do the other ones now. So in the kit we've got different plates. So obviously the biggest one will go on first, then the next one up, and then the little baby one at the top for 60 and 80. In the event it doesn't go all the way to the join, just don't worry about it. I've tapped it a few times, it'll stay there and it'll never move. It's fine, okay? I don't know why I've used the extra long one, but never mind. That's tight enough. I hadn't caught it on, you know. Right. So it is my opinion we supply too many of these on this 18. Because right at the top, it's going to be fine, you know. Okay, it went on. That's fine. That will go down a bit further. Let me take this off and back on. Move it down. Lovely. Well, I've got to be honest with you, if you're using an electric tool, there's a very high chance you will strip the thread, okay? Maybe that's why we supply a couple of extra ones. I just felt I'd over tighten that one. So maybe don't do that. And if you do, use it on a really light torque setting, because it only just needs to be tightened and no more, you know. That'll go flying, and I haven't got a third hand to catch it. Wait! There it is. So that's the 12.4, which has done me proud. We will keep it as a spare. But I've got an old 12.4 with white plates just here, which is looking sorry for itself because the sun's beating down all the time in one direction, where a vertical pole, you'd have less sun in one place. But that would polish out, if you really wanted it polished out, with you know, car polish. But this is free. For someone in the Midlands, they'll need a screwdriver, a hammer, some pliers, and that's it really, and a couple of plastic bags. I've got some old shot cord, so you can cut this shot cord off, and I'll give you some new shot cord, and you take it away. All right, you'll need some radials and stuff. So 12.4. This works perfectly well, if you remember, until I put that one up there. So if you're in the Midlands, shout and come pick it up. I'm on holiday from Saturday the 5th, 6th, 7th, whenever it is, of September for a week. After that, you can come pick it up. All right, it looks a bit beaten up, but you know, clean it up, it should be fine. But we've got to take this 12.4 down, and which has been very dear to my heart, actually. We've worked the world on this thing. Oh, I know what I need to do. I normally just lay that on a trellis, you know, workhorse, but they're all in use. Okay, well, we'll lay it on the ground then. I'm going to salvage the carabiners and mark this one as being the one that does the raising and lowering. I'll do that with white tape. So you've heard the expressions, a number of ways of skinning a cat. So this is my way. This is just a random bit of alloy tube in what they call a Barenko hinge. But if you think about it, any sort of hinge, scaffolding hinge, would do that. Scaffolding, I think, would work great, and it just slips on. Now this, the 18 metre pole, goes right over this. So I've just asked Lockie and robbed a plate that we'll put on there that will just sort of protect the very base, you know what I mean? Right, let's put this other one away now. I think we'll go down here, past that guy. I don't want to stab the end into the earth. All right. Right, I'm just getting a feel of where that is. I think that will go in. Yes. This is just to stop it wandering, you know. All right. So, okay, we've got to play guys now, look, haven't we? 6 to there, and I'm going to number 3. So it's 12 metres, call it 13 metres, guys. I'll be able to cut them, you see. All right. If I had regular 550 paracord, I'm actually quite comfortable using that on this, but I don't have any that length. I don't want to start joining it all. But I do have some Marstrand. I think it's 2mm. So let's have a look. Oh, here we go. Oh, we can just measure this by hand, can't we? This is 2mm. I mean, it's plenty strong enough. I know it's 3mm. 1/8 of an inch, 100 metres. Not quite sure if we've quite got enough here, but I've got another reel of it. So that's the Marstrand stuff. That says 3mm, but it feels about 2mm, but it says 3. Yeah, okay. You know when you're in two minds to do something. I'd like to go out at the third one, but maybe the fourth one. It's a big plate, you see. There's a lot of weight. So we'll do that. We'll do fourth. I'll put the camera where I think the end should be. I mean, this is basic Pythagoras, okay? So if you know Pythagoras theorem, x squared plus y squared equals z squared. Bit more. We need 3 of these long ones. Another metre. There we go. Right. We have guy holes here and there. There's one. So when this goes up, we need one at the back. So this actually can be the back one. We're doing what they call a bow line, which is all about rabbit holes and trees, if you're in the Boy Scouts or the Girl Scouts. Lovely, so that's the first one. Cut and sorted. You can join a rope together quite easily, you know, using something called a fisherman's knot or a double fisherman's knot. So I want to get it up and guide, if you know what I mean, before we start playing elements. I'm just taking these side guys through here, but I'm not tying them off. And what we'll do is we'll raise the antenna, and that will pull the line to roughly where I want to put the, we'll just do a kind of a test lift nearly to the top, and we'll drop it back down and see where the rope needs to go. That cracking's the super glue, isn't it? I let it land horizontal. Now roughly this is where the roughly so I'm going to come in a little bit, do my knot. Having a really short stub, I only have to sort of pull it out and it's gone. So let's get, I think I've got a fiberglass tube with the right diameter. Let's go and have a look for that, shall we? I've got a stock of all sorts in here. Oh, that might be worthwhile. No. Okay, well, for the time being, this will have to do until I find something a whisker longer, you know. Just have to be careful. And it's very difficult to give you an angle of this because it's so blooming huge. Well, I'll put you here. Definitely need a longer pole for this. Right, how are my guys doing? Oh God, very loose. That one's okay. And that one is... Let's have a look. There you go. About a metre. Blast, I'll take it down again. I hate this. I'm pushing down so it doesn't pop out. There we go. Done it. So we need to shorten this one. Okay, so let's have a look at the 6 metre guide point. That one does the heavy lifting or holding at 6 metres. I do have another one at a 12 metre point further up, but that should be loose. And in fact, I'm considering putting those on shock cord. So let the top wobble, right? Because if you tension this stuff too hard, it'll go S-shaped and it can collapse. So a telescopic fiberglass pole needs to move. People make mistake of over tensioning all this stuff. 6 metres is quite tight. I can tell that's fairly tight. And then 12, much looser. So the reality is if the wind blows, this top one here, wind blows towards me here, this should go a little bit loose. But I want to make it a little bit looser. I'm going to put about 1 metre of really heavy shock cord, about 3 feet. So in the main, it'll just sit there, but when the wind blows, The shock cord will just, and pull it back in. All right, we're using it as a shock absorber, shock cord. What would I recommend? Well, we've got the first guy point, I wouldn't bother putting anything there. The second one, I would definitely put one there, and possibly one at the third. I've got one right at the top on the fourth, and to be honest, possibly too high, hence the shock cord idea. So I'm going to drop it over now, and we're going to fix this base. I'm going to put a longer pole in the base, because we've got this short one that's no good to man nor beast. Oh, good. They're loose. All right. And so we can put this right up the base. I've got some old tape there. This is probably going to clog it up now. Let's have a look. Oh no, we're in. I don't have to pad it out, all right? I can let it wobble because it's not going to go anywhere. But, you know, this car electrical loom stuff, I thought we'd just give this a go. Now, this may not work, but it may work. Just to, you know, at least give it a bit of a shock absorbing. Yes, there's 100 different ways of doing this. Do not worry. I'm just having a go. Yeah, okay, I like that. 2 more wraps and we're done. Lovely. This hole, it doesn't fit that, and I really wanted to go through, so this is a little deburring tool, normally used for like aluminium, steel. Just gets rid of the sharp edges, you know. But we might be lucky. Oh, we are. We are. Cutting nicely. It's cutting at the bottom easier, the way my hands are, so whoops, let's cut at the bottom. Well, hey, that's all we needed. All right, let's go back out in the rain. So why am I giving up my beloved 12.4 for an 18? Really, it's for 80 metres. So we got a coil on the 12.4. And I want to enter a contest at the end of October. And every dB counts. So any coil, really. I mean, it was only a moderate small coil for 80 metres. It's probably a couple of dB down or a full size. So anyway, let's fit this now. Just tightening that base up, there we go. So you see, without this little gasket, plate, whatever else, the pole would end up smacking onto one of these. I just didn't think that was fair. So any piece of aluminium, bit of wood or something would have worked, you know. I didn't know whether to do the ground straps now or later. We'll do them later. I think what we should do is fix the workhorse, which has fallen over there, and start with the 80 metre element, eh? All right. Now, I'd normally use wing nuts here, but I just thought I'd use what comes with it. So, 80 we will kind of put opposite, give or take. We'll put 80 there. All I'm going to do is put that full connector on there, and I'll show you how I'm going to build it. When we first started doing this, people would say, you want to use ring terminals. But I mean, I think once I've had a full connector come out, because I frankly didn't tighten it up hard enough, that's all. But it gives you great flexibility, quick disconnect, that sort of thing. Ring terminal, you've got to undo the whole 9 yards. Well, we call this a shower in the UK, and it's battering down. Having the trees above me here, I'm by the shed, look. It doesn't get a lot of rain here. So we'll have to wait for this shower to end, because I'm not getting soaked, all right? Five minutes of it. It's still rainy, but not as bad. Okay, so what am I going to do here? Well, quite simply, these long elements, that's 80. It's going to go up past the first, and then the second spreader, which is the first guy point. And then I'm going to put a loop, and we're going to put some shock cord and hold it. That's roughly at about 10 metre point, look. And then we'll do the same right at the top as well. I just made the mistake. I've put the element, 80 metre element, on the ground plate. Completely wrong. All right, going there. Good. Okay, so I'm going to make a Z shape. I call it a Z shape loop. So I'll put this over the end. God, not used to 80 metres. It goes on forever. And I'm going to give that about 9 inches. Make a little Z shape here, look. Well, it's not going to be that little. I'm going to make it fairly substantial, to be honest. And shove it all in. And show me the loop. There it is there. So it's glue lined, but I will... You can then put a tiny zip tie around that, so that in very, very hot climes, it will hold. The other trick is, don't hang around. Really squash the glue in at risk of burning your fingers, which I will show you. Lovely. Ooh. Okay, so I'm going to get my shock cord, stop a knot, try not to waste any. Lovely. So I'm probably not going to show you all of these, but effectively I'm going to create this one, which is the third spreader up, as a kind of main shock cord tensioner, certainly for 60 and 40. 20 I can probably do further down. This might be 30 as well, we'll see. It just keeps 80. Nice. I seem to have created a loop within a loop there. Pull that out. Lovely. Alright, so 80. Before I finish 80, I'll show you what I've done. Now, I have a funny feeling I've tuned this really low, which I'm pleased about, but let me explain. So we're on the way up now. Come all the way from down there. We're at the top spreader. Okay, got some tension in. I'm now coming up, and at the join between the second to the top and the top, I've put some tape there, 4 pieces of tape, and I've tensioned it through the loop, so it's like not wibbly wobbly. But this is quite important because this is fold back loading. All right, let me say, I have been calling it linear loading, but it's fold back loading. all right, to get the full quarter wave. And you can see, to get the accurate fold back, I've taped it down and parallel to the wires here. Now I could actually put another one about there, but the good news is, you see, this is actually opening up here, which means so we've got more loading effectively down here. So I've got a funny feeling we'll be able to cut this, I don't know, somewhere around here. You know, over the course of 3 or 4 years of doing this on all the other antennas, you get to learn more and more and more, don't you? I wasn't an expert when I started, and I'm still not an expert, but having that loading like that, I'm pretty sure we're going to end up with a tune 3.75. If you want USA 3.8 plus, you cut it even shorter. I'll adjust the manual to compensate for all that. So let's review 80. We'll come up the left side of the pole. First spreader there, free flowing. Second spreader, free flowing. Just want to turn that a wee bit. And then we've got some shock, a nice sort of tension here. Nice lot of shock cord. Nice, you know, it's not a tiny piece. This has got roughly 200% stretch. So we know for a fact it's, you know, plenty of it there. And we maintain up the left until we get to the very top spreader. And then we've got another little tensioner here. Again, about the same length. That is about 180 millimeters, or roughly 9 inches. And I've just shown you the top. So using the cut chart, the same format, I'm going to put on 60, 40, 30, 20 and 17, and I'll get back to you. It is now officially absolutely tipping down with rain. Oh, I'm nearly finished as well. I've just got the 20 metre element to put on. I had about an hour-long coffee break as well, but oh my goodness, wind's come up and everything. Leaves coming down. It's a complete nightmare around here. I did hear some thunder earlier on as well, so I grounded all the antennas. I've made a couple of mistakes. I mean, not showstoppers, I can get the thing up, but I need to dismantle it and just rotate some of the guide points. Just to get the holes immaculatised. Everything's ready to go up. I'm just waiting on the weather now. It's still raining, but not quite as bad. Let's get this thing up. Quick tip for you, just make sure your guys are out the way of any workhorses or anything, because you haven't got eyes on the back of your head. Okay, let's get this out the way. That's my hot air blower torch thing. Dripping on me badly. My God, what have I done? All right. I've just put all these in. You know, all the grounds seems to work. So we've got ground, we've got SO239. It's a new SO239. Just want to fill up the threads with a bit of Vaseline, you know, give it easy. Good. Oh, and I forgot to put the self-amalgamating tape around the back here. So I'll just squodule some of that. There we go. Lovely. Okay, good. So I left hanging there, look. Oh, I'm absolutely soaked. Alright, day 3. This has so far been about 5 hours of work, so although it's day 3, you know, I've been doing other stuff as well. A couple of issues I want to solve today, and it'll be finished in about 2 hours' time, is that the guy plates, well, let me take it down, I'll show you. So earlier on I explained that the guy plates have 3, 4 and 6 holes and guy holes, right? And before you put them on the pole, get them all in the right plane, because it's impossible. It can almost be upside down, do you know what I mean? So take this one. That should have been there, for instance. And that's the 80 metres, a pain in the butt. So I started off there. I shouldn't have started there. So I'm just going to take the elements off. I'm going to whack these plates off, make sure they're all in the right plane, and put them back down. And the calculator say take 1.5 metres off this fold back, the one that comes, you know, from the top, which is fine because we can come to probably about here with a shock cord. We can take it down to there. Be lovely. As a warning to you lot, check the plates. All the patterns line up perfectly. So I'm just going to strip this down and I'll get back to you. Alright, I'm ready to restring. So what I've done, I've moved the guy point to the middle and there's 2 little holes each side of it. I'm not using this one because that is an element and that is an element, and that is part of either the 4-way pattern or the 3-way pattern, I can't remember. So I've got to ignore that one there. Now I see the problem. See these 3 holes here, and then we've got one over there, but we're close one over here. Well, if we go right to the top, you'll see I've put it on effectively upside down. Instead of that one being there, it's there. So I need to literally take this off, turn it around 180 degrees and pop it back on. Some heat shrink and my gun, which I've just spent 20 minutes finding. Unbelievable. So my problem was, before you put the grey plates on, these things here, just lay them all out and make sure all these holes are in the right place, because I got my, I think it's called knickers in a twist. And I was using some of the wrong holes one way and then the other way, whatever else. So this one at the top here, I've just taken that one off, turned it around 180 degrees, put it back on. So we're now good to go. I'm just going to restring 80 and 60 and do it all again. And I've got a cool hack for 80. Here we go. Same as yesterday, this is near the top spreader of 80 metres. And I've just added a bit of doing, right? So I can keep this tensioned, and as it goes all the way up to the top, it'll keep a little pull down. So there might end up being a little loop there, but it'll stop it wobbling. That's the point. Massive band of rain just about to tip up. Why is it I do my best work in the rain? So this fold back loading is super efficient. I mean, it's almost indiscernible from a full quarter wave. But I'm going to cut 1 metre off this, which means we can put a loop there and, you know, put it back down straight, which is quite nice. Squash the glue. Ow, ow, ow. Now 60 metres is going to come to there. It doesn't matter, we'll put it next to it. Where we put this one? We'll put it there opposite the other one, look. So, not too much, just enough to hold it straight. A little bit of tension. Lovely, lovely. Oh, I'm really pleased with that. We've got tension here, we've got tension coming back. So in the main, that's lovely, that is. Very pleased. Let's cut this off and put the blow lamp on it. You know, half the time I don't look in the viewfinder, I just point the camera. And experience tells me I'm normally in the right place. Sometimes I miss a shot I can't use, you know, completely out. 40 is 7.06 or something, 20 is 13.9, but I'm going to restring it to get an 80 right, and then I'll do one sweep and cut them all, okay? So 80's done, let me string them all on, and then we'll go into the shack, fire up the radio and just have a look at the SWR curves. Thought I had this working. 1, 2, testing. 1, 2, 1, 2, there we are. So we can't go inside until we put the pole up. Do you want to see it? No, but it's just perfect, okay? What I'm going to do, by the way, and I always do this with big long stuff like this and guide things, is check that my guys are not confused. That is a top. That was a lifting guy, which is now over the top. Okay, of that one, that's fine. So that goes there. This one goes here. Hopefully not in the way of anything. Nope. That one comes up. I'm just checking that as I raise this, we're not going to be tangled in sawhorses and stuff like that. Out of the way. That's out of the way. This one comes. Ooh. Ah. Right, I've got a tangle here. The long one. Because when you restring this stuff, you end up realising that because when you restring, it's quite possible to accidentally thread it through an element. It's exactly what I've done there, look. So, and pull it through. Done that before. And it's halfway up and you're wondering what the hell's going on. It's quite weird actually to work out when you're stringing these things up where the guys go, you know. I just want the tune on 80 actually, but I think 40 is a whisker low. It's kind of FT8. Although being full size, bandwidth is pretty huge, you know. Right, ready to go. That one is definitely on top of that one. This one's out of the way. So's that. I get my two far guys. Will come down about here, I think. Right, I'm clear. Slowly, slowly. After you've done this a few times, it's less scary. Right, the very top guys are now slightly looser, but that's okay because I'm only interested in that bottom guy right now. Top guy and just hang around and then we'll tighten them up. And I've got to say, trying to tighten and sort out 120 degree angles can take forever. Anyway, okay, we're straight. The top's loose, but that's kind of okay. Or is it? Let's have a look. That's fine. I'll leave the top a minute. I'm just going to do the bottom tiny bit this way, not a lot. It's about 12, 13 mil, half an inch. And I'll just put a little safety bow there. Oh, heading over to the right very slightly. Very slightly. I'm going to back off. Teeny bit, so that's going to be 25 mil, 1 inch. I'm just coming back to the other guy. Actually, I've been dealing with that one over there. I'm just going to tension this top one, guy number, well, whatever, I haven't numbered them. Guy number 47. I'm tensioning it a tiny bit. That's all I want. But I still want these top guys to have a little bit of give in them, and they do. If I pull the mast, you should see the other two a little bit floppity at the very top. I don't want that rigid at the top. I want the next ones down, the ones at the 6 metre point. I'm happy for them to be fairly tight. Anyway, that looks fine. Good. Oh, that's fine. Well, it's Friday. This is the last day of me tinkering with this project. 40 metres and 20 metres are a smidge out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tune those now, and then we'll go back inside and look at the SWR chart. But I have to say, this is absolutely typical that, you know, I finished this little project and the sun comes out and I've got this lovely blue sky. And the other thing, I've got to congratulate you for sitting to the end of this video, because I know it's a long one. So there's two ways of doing this. We can either drop the tower down, or the mast, sorry, and get to the far end, cut off the heat shrink, measure it, cut there and everything else. Or, because the shock cord is so long and I've left a little bit just in case, what I can do is hunt for red orange. Red is 17, orange is going to be 20. No, there's 20. So all I need to do is measure about 4 inches or 10 centimetres, put a new fork connector on, and we're good to go. So if we've got red, orange, yellow, green is 40 metres, that's round here. That's 40 there. Anyway, well done for sticking this far into this this video. Let's do this job. Oh my goodness, there it is. I can see the glue coming out the bottom here. I genuinely, I'm sorry about this. I didn't look at the user guide when I built this, so I just put 80 opposite 60 and then filled in, and then I've tuned to suit. Because, yeah, I can do this. So if you are thinking of building one, I'll just tell you now. Clockwise from the 6 o'clock position on the SO239, we've got green, red, orange, yellow, 40 metres. Then I've got 17. Then we've got 80. That is 20, the orange one. And then yellow is 30 metres. Blue is 60 metres. Now, finally, we can go inside, fire it up, and just check the chain. Tragically, I don't actually trust my analyzer. It's a rig expert. I've got too many weird little issues with it. Anyway, let's just show you on the screen. So this is, I'm on the 60 metre band at the moment. I've picked the middle of the band as the frequency we're allowed on, 5335 upper side band. I've hit the PFA button. You will see that we've got an SWR of next to nothing. That's across the whole. I mean, it's not many people use 60 metres, but it's just nice to have. Right, I covered that, so in case I forgot that frequency, right. So 80 metres. I've settled it on about, well, there. 3723, right at the top of the band. It's 1.3 to 1. There is nobody around, don't worry. It's 80 meters and I'm doing 15 watts. And then if we go down to 3.6, it's 1.2, 1.3 to 1. So we've got about 250 kilohertz bandwidth. It's a big antenna, so that's fine. So that's sorted. Let's go back up a bit. 40 meters is fantastic. This is 7147. SWR is not negligible. The top end of the band, for us, some of you guys in the US start at 7.3. Don't worry about that. I'll put that in the cut chart. And at, say, 7.1, we're just starting to creep up the other side. So I could have shifted that down 50 kilohertz, whatever. I'm happy with that. 10 meters, 30 meter band, and that is within band. No SWR. I don't know why I'm proving this to you. I'm kind of proving it to myself, really. So this is cock on, next to that, nothing there. Normal bandwidth, so up to, 1.2, 1.3 to 1. So that's fine. And same with 18 meters, 17 meter band, 18 megahertz. There's literally nothing there. So that is done and dusted. Look out for me on 80 meters, all right? Because we're going to have some fun with this. To have a non-coil 80, assuming it stays up in the wind, a non-coil 80 meter might be quite good fun. I'm not quite sure if I should. Not quite sure if I should put this heavy shock cord in line yet. I'm just about to go on holiday tomorrow, so we'll have a think about that. All right, so excellent. Have a good day. Enjoy your radio. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.